Me again, Daddy, my 12-week summer shred. A little bit of information for you guys. Day 3 it is today, heading into 12 weeks. So just starting, okay? So we're just starting the journey. And you know, the guys that are following online and the guys that are following in here, I've got you sitting at about 10% right now. Okay, so what does 10% mean? 10% means you're 10% less than your maintenance calories. So imagine you have 2,300 calories per day, and that is your amount of calories that you putting on weight and you're not losing weight, okay? You're just maintaining. Now, 10% less than that would be about 2,230. So if you take that from that, we've got about 2,070. So yeah, that's an indication of 10% of your maintenance calories. So for me, I'm sitting at the moment, 4,000 calories this week, okay? I'm usually burning at about 4,500. And how do I work that out? Okay, there's a couple of ways we can work that out, but I have figured out a best way possible that it can be worked out, and it's a lot more accurate than TDE. Okay, TDE is total daily expenditure, which you can find on a scanner and which you can work out by your daily activity, with your lean body mass, with your height, your weight, and your age. That is just an algorithmic equation that it is spits out a number, and that number can be here, it can be here, but you still got to figure out where your maintenance calories are. Now, the other way you can work it out, and we have been doing it for a long time, is through calories through the watch. But again, the watch can be up to 40% inaccurate. And what I've learned over the last couple of challenges is by me pushing people, adding 100 calories per week past their maintenance or whatever their TEE, and finding out where they start plateauing, where they start putting on weight, where they start losing weight. That's the best way to do that. But that does take time. Now, another way that I have figured out over the last couple of weeks is we're using MyZone straps in here. And with the MyZone straps, it's a pretty accurate number of calories burned per day. And now I've got an equation that gives you optimal energy availability according to the amount of exercise you do per week. And I have figured out that most people's TDE might be at 2,300, their expenditure from their watch might be at 2,400, yet their optimal energy availability might be at 2,900, which is more of an indication of where their true maintenance is, because the guys in here, particularly at KDP, where I am, train like athletes, okay? So that's more of an athletic base equation, but it has seemed to work very well with the guys in here. So that is something that I'm working on with guys in here, but I've already worked mine out, and it works out to about 4,000 calories per week this week. I'm just playing around with it, jumping on a scanner once a week and seeing where we go. Now, another thing that I want to talk about is burning fat for fuel. Now, at this point of time, I want to try to keep my weight, my heart rate sort of below 70%, but I want to try to keep it up, between that 60 to 70. So I'm still burning calories, especially when I'm doing my weight training. Okay, but I'm still burning fat rather than going into my glycogen source. So when we go over 70%, we're starting to use carbs as fuel, which carbs is glucose. Okay, body turns carbs into glucose as fuel. Now, when you're running low on glucose, the body tends to pull it out of its stores, and its stores are two places, liver and muscles. So the body stores it in the muscles. Now, if you haven't got enough glycogen available, you start taking the muscle and burning muscle. So it can be catabolic, which means you can be burning muscle whilst doing physical activity, which you don't really want to be doing right now. We want to be thinking about fat burning and retaining as much muscle as we can. That's going to make us look leaner, make us look better, but it's also going to make us burn more calories, okay, by having more muscle. So that's our optimal 70% is what we're looking at right now to stay under that zone, somewhere between 50 and 70. That's why walking is a great form of exercise for burning fat. A lot of guys do walking on inclines, stuff like that, but also trying to do resistance training and keep it under is a great form of way of burning fat while training. And we done it this morning in a class where we done TRXs, and we tried to keep that heart rate. We had guys with their straps on, try to keep it under 70, and it works really, really well. And then the other thing is the more you burn as well. So number 4, if my activities increase over this week and they increase over the next week, and I might be sitting at 2,300 for my maintenance this week, and the next week, if I have a look, I might be at 2,500 and 2,700. I've got to think about eating more food to accommodate and stay in that 10%. Okay, so as soon as if you're eating 2,300 and your expenditure moves from 2,500 to 2,700, your deficit becomes a lot larger. Okay, and at the moment, I want to keep it about that 10%. As soon as we start falling into that 30, 40% deficit, even 50% deficit, the body does not like it, and it tends to start holding onto fat rather than burning it. Okay, so our objective is to burn fat, and the optimal amount of percentage to be in a deficit is probably usually between 10 and 20%. And last thing, and we just touched on that before, glycogen muscle. Okay, we do not want to burn the glycogen out of our muscle. We want to try to retain as much glycogen in our muscle and try to retain as much water as we can in our muscle. And by doing that, we need the minerals, the electrolytes to be able to hold. They open the key into the muscle. So we want to try to be holding as much water and glycogen as possibly we can. Guys, I hope this information here, 5 things that I'm looking at today, is useful for you guys. I hope you have a great day. Enjoy.